Okay, let's just jump right in. What if I told you that pretty much everything you've been taught about saving for retirement is, well, not just wrong, but it's actually keeping you trapped? We're going to explore a path to financial freedom that doesn't require decades of grinding or, believe it or not, millions in the bank.
Seriously, think about it for a second. When you picture retirement, what's that big, scary number that pops into your head? For most of us, it's a huge, intimidating figure. Maybe 2 million, maybe 5, maybe even more. It's a number so big it feels almost impossible to reach, right? But what if that number is just a myth?
What if this was the number? $500,000. And not to just start your retirement, but to be financially free, for good. I know, it sounds kind of crazy, but the math is surprisingly simple. And I promise you, it could completely change how you think about your money, your job, and your life.
So let's tear this myth apart. The old school advice is all about accumulation, building this massive pile of cash that you then hopefully don't spend too quickly. But the real secret isn't about how much you have, it's about how much your money can generate for you. We're talking about a huge shift in thinking from accumulation to income.
I mean, just look at this chart. The gap is insane, isn't it? People are stressed out chasing this multi-million-dollar target when a fraction of that, invested wisely, could give them the exact freedom they're looking for. The goal isn't the pile of gold, it's the freedom that gold buys you.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. We've been conditioned to think wealth means luxury cars and designer clothes. But true wealth? That's freedom. It's waking up in the morning and owning your own day. It's having the power to say yes to things you love and no to things you don't. It's all about having choices.
Okay, so how does this actually work? This isn't magic, it's just math. We're gonna break down this simple formula that allows a sum like 500 grand to sustain you, well, indefinitely, without ever even touching the original amount. The engine that drives this entire strategy is passive income. This is money that your money makes for you while you sleep. The concept is so simple, but it's the key to everything. When your passive income is greater than your expenses, you are free. That's it. That's the whole game.
So where does this magical income come from? Well, historically, a simple, balanced portfolio of stocks and bonds, we're talking low-cost index funds that track the whole market, can generate really solid returns. For our purposes, we'll use a pretty conservative estimate of 8.5% a year, which is based on long-term market averages.
And here's the math in action. That $500,000 earning 8.5% a year spits out $42,500. That breaks down to about $3,500 a month. Just let that sink in. That's a steady income that arrives every single month, whether you get out of bed or not.
Now this is the most important part, the real magic of this whole thing. You're not spending down your original $500,000. You are living off the interest, the growth, the fruit from the tree. Your nest egg isn't a piggy bank you're raiding. It's a perpetual money-making machine that can, in theory, last forever.
Now this money machine is incredibly powerful, but there's one thing that can break it. And it's probably not what you're thinking. The biggest obstacle for most people isn't a market crash or a low salary, it's their spending. It's that silent killer of wealth called lifestyle inflation that keeps people on the hamster wheel no matter how much they earn.
This slide really shows the two fundamental mindsets about money. There's the consumer, who sees money as something to be spent. Poof, it disappears. And then there's the investor, who sees money as a tool, like a seed you can plant to grow more money. Shifting your brain from that left column to the right is probably the single most important financial decision you will ever make. Let's make this super real. The average person spends thousands of dollars a year on little things like daily coffees and eating out. It gives you a little hit of pleasure, and then it's gone. It seems harmless, right? But what is the real cost of that $3,000?
Okay, what if you invested that money instead? That exact same $3,000 invested every year with an average 8% return, well, in 30 years, it grows to over $800,000. I mean, you are literally trading permanent freedom for temporary convenience. When you see the numbers like this, the choice becomes crystal clear.
Of course, the real world is messy. I can hear you thinking, yeah, but what about inflation? What if the market tanks? These are totally valid questions. So let's talk about how this strategy is actually designed to be incredibly resilient.
So here's how you bulletproof the plan. First, to beat inflation, you just withdraw a little less than your investments earn. If they make 8.5%, maybe you live on 7%. That extra bit gets reinvested, letting your principal grow and stay ahead of rising costs. Second, market crashes. A diversified portfolio is key, so all your eggs aren't in one basket. And since you're not selling your assets, you can just ride out the downturns. And finally, think of Social Security as an awesome backup plan, a bonus income stream that just adds another layer of security.
This quote gets right to the heart of it all. Wealth is relative. True financial power isn't about having a giant bank account, it's about having a huge gap between what your money earns and what you actually need to live. Controlling your expenses is the ultimate financial superpower.
So you see, this whole journey isn't just about hitting a number in a bank account. It's about what that number unlocks. We're moving beyond the spreadsheets now to talk about what you're really working for, buying back your time, your freedom, and your life.
Our society has totally confused looking rich with being rich. Looking rich is all about the stuff, the expensive car, the designer clothes, and it's often financed by debt. But being rich, that's owning your time. It's the quiet confidence of knowing all your needs are met, which frees you up to live without that constant financial fear in the back of your mind. One's a performance, the other is reality.
And this is the profound shift that happens. Once your passive income covers your basic needs, your entire relationship with work changes. It's no longer this desperate act of survival, this mandatory trade of your precious life hours just to pay the rent.
Instead, work becomes a choice. It turns into something you do for purpose, for creativity, for fulfillment. You can finally start that business, or write that book, or dedicate your time to a cause you believe in, not because you have to, but because you want to. That, right there, is the ultimate prize.
So we've seen that the math works. The path is clear. This isn't some fantasy. It requires discipline, yeah, and a different way of thinking. But it is absolutely possible. The only real question left is for you. Are you ready to choose permanent freedom over temporary pleasure? Your future is waiting for your answer.